I think we've engaged each other enough. I'm not going to let these women start to, build up their meter to start just getting more and more comfortable with my docile approach to their disrespect. So I'm going to go ahead and bow out. Listen, to accept you for who you are, flaws and all. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of it, ladies, because guess what? We're going to love you anyway.
He ran. Let me tell you something. How is it?
Usain bolted out of here.
I'm talking about fast. I just have to point out. I'm so sorry, Trail. But I just have to point out that the man ran from women.
It's interesting. And we're talking about teaching. We're teaching. So you would think if we're teaching, then we're talking about children. We're not talking to adults. We're not talking about adults. We're not talking about teenagers per se. You can still teach teenagers things, but we're definitely not talking about adults. For a person to say, you can build something for me, I don't think little boys is out here building things to help girls figure out things that they're frustrated with. So you have to first keep things in its proper context. And if boys weren't taught that they should be loved and they should be cared for and that they're valuable, if boys have to learn this as men, have to refigure out how they're valuable, then that means they weren't taught by their parents. And who's largely responsible for raising little black boys? It will be mothers, right? Mothers will have the obligation to teach boys. And if the boys don't know how to love themselves, it's probably because their mothers didn't love them. Their mothers didn't love on them. Because if your mother was loving on you, if your mother was a loving person like y'all claim these women are, then why is she neglecting her son and teaching him how to value himself? You know why? Because she's busy perpetuating a problem, teaching him also how to value girls. I think it's really rich. I think it's extremely rich that we were taught, Ms. Pearl, you say, y'all were taught how to be there for us. Y'all were taught how to get us to talk. If y'all were, how were y'all taught to communicate and taught to be there for us, to get us to open up to talk, when you say the parents weren't good communicators? You say the parents weren't talking. When do bad parents with bad etiquette, bad communication skills, when do they teach kids how to communicate? When do they teach kids how to be there for other people and have proper empathy? I think, again, we're idolizing lying. Maybe we're conscious of it. Maybe we're subconscious of it. We may not realize what we're doing, but there's multiple things that were said tonight that's not true. Fundamentally not true, because the people who said it contradicted themselves while they were on their soliloquy. I don't understand how you can contradict yourself, yet perpetuate it and promote it like it is facts. It is true. It's reality. No, it's a fantasy world that you ladies are somehow tapped into. Purgatory. It's like your mindset is stuck in purgatory. You can't escape from it. But hey, I digress.
Go ahead, Pretty.
So there's a couple of things that I find to be interesting. Number one is that learning doesn't end when you end adolescence and when you become an adult. Actually, quite literally, there's multiple adult learning theories because learning continues until you unalive. So no, when we're talking about learning, there is no assumption that we're talking about children because you should continue learning. What I often find is that maybe because y'all have peaked when it comes to your cognitive development, you assume women have also peaked, but that's not the case. We continue to learn, hopefully until we unalive. The next thing I do want to say is that when you talk about the obligation of raising a Black boy because you're primarily raised by a Black mother, once again, every single time we have this conversation, in 2026, I hope single mothers can escape a conversation without a stray. But because we are now talking about single Black moms again, let's go ahead and bring up the fact that if a single parent is a working parent, maybe they're not able to fully teach their child because they're working. and trying to make the money for two parents or two adults by themselves. And that is often the issue. If that woman is a single parent, she does not have the support of the other parent. So that absent father and her needing to work to pick up the slack is probably going to be a greater determinant, meaning she has less resources. That has nothing to do with her intentions in, oh, she intentionally didn't teach him the proper etiquette and the proper things because she wanted to make sure he was going to be taken advantage of by women in society. That is not the case. Oftentimes, a lot of single mothers baby their sons, if anything. They baby them. They will love on their sons. They will make sure their sons feel all of the love and none of the punishment. They're oftentimes a part of that issue. But make no mistake that the majority of times they're not sitting around trying to make sure their sons treat other women so great that they neglect them. That is an asinine statement, and there's nothing that you have to prove that.
Well, I'll say this to you, and I don't want to argue with you women tonight. You know, if y'all feel the need to throw insults my direction, you can. I won't respond to them. But we're talking about it's interesting to me because we're talking about you never stop learning, as if we're talking about learning. We're not talking about learning. We're talking about teaching. See, I can learn through observation, but I can't be taught through observation, not without verbal direction. You cannot just teach, because I have to first engage you to teach you. I can't just be like, oh, you know what? My son is watching me. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. He's paying attention. I know he's paying attention. I know he comprehends what I'm doing. I know he fully understands why I'm doing this. I don't have to check for understanding. I can just do it. I know he's observing, so I'm teaching him. No, that's not how teaching works. Teaching is deliberate. You have to first engage your audience, explain to them what you're about to do, then oftentimes show them what you're doing, and then check for understanding. And then you may have to do it multiple times. That's teaching. Someone just observing, they can learn from observing, but you can't just teach because you don't even know if people are paying attention to what it is that you're doing. So we like to, again, say things that's not true. Or sometimes we just are unaware that what we're saying is not true. But what I'm going to do tonight, JR, my dog, I think you got enough people on the panel. I think we've engaged each other enough. I'm not going to let these women start to, build up their meter to start just getting more and more comfortable with my docile approach to their disrespect. So I'm going to go ahead and bow out. Listen, y'all have yourselves a fantastic New Year's, okay?
Hey,
I wish y'all all the best in 2026.
Hey, Will, you going to leave us by ourselves like that? That's what you doing?
Absolutely. I'm going to leave you and True and JR to y'allselves, all right? Y'all far more comfortable in these spaces than me. Little old me, I can't be in these spaces. I might start to shrivel, But you ladies, those of you out there who ain't got a man, just understand in 2026 for sure, if you don't have a man, you are a bona fide loser. I want y'all to do yourselves a favor. Shed that loser cocoon, okay? Come out of that makeup, that costume, that mask, and show those blemishes to the world. Allow us to accept you for who you are, flaws and all. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of it, ladies, because guess what? We're gonna love you anyway. When you're yourself, flaws and all, we're gonna love you anyway. So stop losing in 2026. Get yourself a man, all right? Don't start this year off as a loser. JR, my dog, I'm glad that 2025 was good to you. I hope 2026 is even better. Gentlemen on the panel, man, y'all do y'all thing, man. I'm going to be in touch with y'all in 2026. You ladies on the panel, I wish y'all the best this upcoming year. For those of you who are married, love your husband, be treated well by your husband. Those of you single, get yourself a man. And those of y'all who are losing and can't figure out how to get out your own way, keep losing. I'll holler at y'all in 2026. Y'all have yourselves a good night.
Yeah. So pretty.
I'll pick
up where he left off.
Love the gas.
Oh my God.
I just got one thing to say. He ran. Let me tell you something. How is
You
it?
saying bolted out of here?
I'm talking about fast. I just had to point it. I'm so sorry, Trail. So but I just had to point out that the man ran from women that didn't even do nothing.
I don't think he ran. I don't know what happened. He might have had, he got young children and stuff. He might have had to tend to them. I don't think he ran. I would. I don't think he ran.
You saw him both up out of here. Like,
he left, but we don't know why, right? I've left the
He took his ball and went.
He told you why.
Took his ball and he went. Okay.
And I just wanted to say that it feels so good. That felt so nice. It felt good to my soul. It did.
That's how y'all feel? No, but I kind of wanted to talk to that one point that Pretty made, whereas, people do learn all the way through their adulthood. And while I agree with that, I think that the fundamentals are paramount. Like, if you ever try to learn piano as an adult, it's harder. Try to learn a language, it's harder. Breaking habits, it's harder. The fundamentals are essential for the foundation of your character. When you were taught some things, like if you're talking about serial deleters, they're usually built as children. You form these habits and you have muscle memory. What you were taught in those impressionable years, your developmental stage, is what you're likely going to become as an adult. Just I guess a stronger version of that. So I can't see how we're like not really seeing how to, like, we're not seeing eye to eye on it, but I'm kind of puzzled because just from what we witness on a regular basis between the homes, we know that the female is not taught what the male is at the same time. Men are absolutely taught how to treat women, right? And many of us may not understand it as well. Many of us may bump our head in the way, but we are absolutely taught to consider the feeling and the emotions of women. However that manifests is another thing. And again, we're talking about we're not talking about dysfunction. I'm talking about people who are doing what they're supposed to do, right? From the quote unquote good homes, the same people who would raise a mother, raise a future mother, a future father, they teach them very differently. And we understand that it should be different, but I think that women are considered so much more than men are. And when we went around earlier on the panel, I know you weren't here Pretty just yet, but what the women first mentioned, their first go round, right, shooting from the hip, it was about what to avoid from men, and right, or what not to tolerate from men, or how to be treated by men, whereas men are taught how to treat women in general. And that's the stark difference that I was discussing.